Thank God it's Friday. Monday's a brand new start. Wednesday, you're halfway home, and Thursday, the weekend's not far. Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. What can you say about Tuesday? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Tuesday bites. Tuesday sucks. Tuesday blows. Go away. Tuesday's crap. Tuesday's lame. Tuesday's dumb. Go away. Tuesday. Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. What can you say about Tuesday?
Nothing. Except we're going to get some showers and thunderstorms right around noon today. It looks like we got some on the overnight. I woke up and the pavement was wet. Didn't seem like it was too much. But then there's definitely going to be some rain moving through the area later this morning, early this afternoon.
A few of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger side with some small hail or brief strong winds. Also, the DNR has issued an air quality alert until noon. That's code red for unhealthy air quality. Even sees spikes to very unhealthy categories at times. So individuals with, that are affected by that should limit their time outdoors. But yeah, possibly some rain on and off. Later on this morning, it looks like it hits through La Crosse and the Chippewa Valley, and, about 100% chance of rain by about 10 o'clock this morning. So 10, 11 o'clock, noon, 1, into the early afternoon.
Jean's back. Graduation on Sunday for her final child, Ella. Even though you stole a baby while I was there, and we're going to raise that child as your own.
I tried.
Because you are feeling the empty nest syndrome, even though all of your kids are suddenly living back at the house.
They're clear. Ella never left, so she's not back. She's just still there. But yeah, I was given the baby M&Ms, and we were bonding. I thought that, the baby was
I would like to be given M&Ms.
She was all about it.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, and we will get to a lot of stuff today, including what's new on New Release Tuesday, some money-saving hacks that might not actually be saving you some money. Our buddy Grant Bills of the Wisco Sports Show is going to join us
Love that
just
guy.
after 8 o'clock, and, of course, Bad News, Happy Music, and all sorts of other stuff as well. rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. Find all of our contact info there. Check out the daily podcast. Also, listen to the show live on the website and sign up for Workforce Wednesday, which is, of course, tomorrow.
Yeah, let us know where you're working. We'd love to hear from you.
We'll get to music in just a couple of minutes from KSE. Don't go anywhere.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, and just awful to hear about this story. Jonathan Joss, I'm sure you saw a lot of people sharing it yesterday. I know you've been busy and you had a lot of stuff going on, but actor Jonathan Joss dying on Sunday night after being shot by his neighbor outside the remains of his home in San Antonio. He was 59 years old. Joe, Joss was the voice of John Redcorn on King of the Hill.
Hi, John Redcorn.
Bill?
Morning, John Redcorn.
Oh, Peggy, just dropping off a new healing herb for Nancy to help with her migraines. Ginkgo biloba.
Oh, yeah, Sure, I've heard of that. Nancy? Oh, there you are. Hello, John Redcorn.
Oh, yes, we were just back here.
Oh, phew, I just had to get out of that house. I am trying to do some creative work, and Hank seems to think that he's helping by making me more and more stressed out. It is giving me a whopping headache.
Yes, headaches can often be caused by stress.
Of course, John Redcorn. You're a licensed New Age healer.
Yeah, he was also on Park and Rec, and his husband, Tristan, giving his side of the story, saying that this past January, Jonathan's childhood home had burned down and one of his dogs died in the fire. This was back in January, a few months ago.
Okay.
For years before that, Jonathan and Tristan had apparently dealt with a very angry and homophobic neighbor who had threatened to burn his house down.
Okay.
Then on Sunday, Jonathan and Tristan apparently went to the site to check their mail and found the skull of one of their dogs and its harness placed in clear view. Not like amongst the rubble type thing. They were extremely distraught, obviously, and then a man approached them, started yelling gay slurs at them. Then he raised a gun, pointed it at them, and opened fire. Tristan says Jonathan pushed him out of the way and saved his life, but Jonathan struck several times, dying at the scene. The suspect, a 56-year-old man named Sigfrido Alvarez Ceja, was booked on a murder charge, but just an absolutely got to be a hate crime. I mean, right? Going to charge this guy with a hate crime, I'm assuming? Awful. Just awful.
And I'm assuming he had not been charged with the home fire, right? The guy wasn't like...
I don't know. I don't know where.
Might be now, but wasn't at the time.
Might be. I don't think at the time, no. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm assuming this thread, when much like a sweater, when you start to pull it, it's going to unravel. He was murdered by someone who could not stand the sight of two men loving each other, said Tristan in a Facebook post yesterday. San Antonio police denying those claims, however, saying currently the investigation has found no evidence to indicate that Mr. Joss's murder was related to his sexual orientation. We'll see. Obviously, there's, this just happened. It's a fresh wound, but they're going to pick at it and see where it goes. As you mentioned, the DNR issuing an air quality alert for several Wisconsin counties today. The red level advisory issued for Ashland, Barron, Bayfield, Buffalo, Burnett, Chippewa, Clark, Douglas, Dunn, Eau Claire, Florence, Taylor, Trempealeau, Vernon, La Crosse, Marathon, Monroe, Oneida, Pepin, Pierce, a whole bunch of others. The advisory set to begin today. And then end sometime later on this afternoon. So it won't be, of course, for multiple days. But we saw over the weekend, it was just sort of hazy in the area. That hazy
was crazy from
And on
the
Friday,
fires.
when we were driving to dinner, I noticed that in the back of my throat, I was like, man, I can kind of feel the fact that there's some smoke in the air.
That yellowish, weird, it was 2 p.m, and it seemed like it was almost night. It was so crazy. But yeah, a problem again today, that air quality.
Crazy video out of Italy. I don't know if you saw this, but Mount Etna there erupted.
Oh, yeah.
And the smoke and ash and everything billowing into the sky and people running for their lives.
Whoa, I can see it. It's going up.
Yeah.
It's going right now. Yeah.
I mean, this morning was the most astounding thing I've ever seen in my life.
An eruption of Italy's Mount Etna, sending, again, plumes of smoke and ash and rock and all sorts of stuff into the air. And people that live in that area, of course, running for their lives and trying to get away from that, not knowing what's going to happen next. But the videos are unbelievable to watch. Charles Manson, one of the Manson family murderers, apparently out on parole.
For real?
Yeah, so this is like 50 years later, and they finally granted parole to one of the Manson family murderers.
The thing I try to remember sometimes is that what I am today is not what I was at 19. And I can only tell you, I have been with something that started only as one woman with one man that turned into one of the most disastrous, most horrendous, most abominable situations that could possibly come out of it. I guess when I start thinking of myself, mostly the word that comes to mind is what a coward that I found myself to be, and what I allowed myself and where I allowed myself to go.
That is Patricia Krenwinkel, I think is how you pronounce the last name, and that is from an interview with her from 2015. New York Times, I believe, did a bunch of interviews with her for a documentary, and now she has been granted parole after 55 years in prison, killing 7 people along with an unborn baby. She's also the one who scrawled Helter Skelter on the wall in the victim's blood. That was actually her that did that, and now she's been granted parole. The California Parole Board Commissioner is granting her parole. Patricia Krenwinkel, 77 years old, appearing at her first parole hearing on May 30th since Governor Gavin Newsom reversed a parole board's decision to set her free in 2022. The parole board commissioner said that Krenwinkel, who declined to speak during the 4-hour hearing, based their decision on the fact that clinicians found her to be a low risk of reoffending. Commissioners also found that Krenwinkel's youth at the time of the murders, she was only 21, and her exposure to harmful relationships significantly factored into those murders.
Right.
Currently incarcerated at the California Institution for Women, now going on her 55th year in prison, briefly looked at her attorney following the decision before looking motionless at the camera. But she's going to get out and
Wow, what happens next after 55 years?
I don't know. What the hell do you do? Who do you got to have? You got to have people,
80.
right? I mean, you must have people on the outside.
Do you?
Well, Manson had followers. I'm sure she's got people that are writing her letters and family members and people that she knows. And
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't. I mean, 55 years later, your family might be all gone, or the ones at least that would be willing to step up and help you. You might be alone. Ugh. How do you figure out that? That's terrible.
And a wild scene in Tennessee is a pet zebra got loose and was running down the highway.
I was shocked for sure, but also in awe, to be that close to, this big animal like that. So I was definitely amazed by it and a little bit scared for it as well.
A pet zebra? You can have that, huh?
Yeah, and it took all of 2 seconds for these people to take possession of the zebra before it got loose. So apparently they either don't know what they're doing or maybe weren't prepared for the zebra, and the zebra said, no, I'm not doing this. A zebra in Tennessee, as far as I know, still on the loose after the animal escaped from its owners. Over the weekend, they obtained the zebra on Friday night and then reported it missing on Saturday.
What? They got it on Friday and it went missing on Saturday? That is a bad fence. Whatever fence you got, it ain't going to work.
This thing escaped into a wooded area off of Interstate 24 where it was, quote, wreaking havoc between the parkway and another exit there on Saturday afternoon. Deputy Ryan Keish locating the zebra near the interstate and shut down one lane of traffic for travelers' safety. After the zebra crossed the interstate, deputies closed both the eastbound lanes toward Chattanooga and the westbound lanes towards Nashville. Zebra causing chaos on the freeway because it was running through traffic on both sides of the highway. Sheriff's office didn't say how or where the owners got the zebra or where it was being housed at the time of its
that's
escape.
The questions, isn't it?
Is it even legal to own a zebra if you're not a zoo? In Tennessee, maybe it is. I don't know.
Zebra wreaking havoc on the interstate right now.
Any zebra that's on the loose is going to be wreaking havoc.
I agree with you. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that thing, gets loose and is like, I'm out of here, bro. I got things to do.
You probably can have a zebra. I mean, I didn't know you could have Tiger King. I didn't know you could have a whole, zoo of tigers.
A menagerie?
Yeah. Don't you have to get a permit for that?
I'm assuming you have to have a permit. You have to have a permit just to breathe nowadays. But a zebra on the loose. Lots of video, by the way, from people
I am sure.
on the highway checking out the zebra on the loose. It's rock.
They got to reconsider their situation. They got it on Friday and it got loose on Saturday.
Maybe a better fence. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to sports in a couple of minutes. Right now, it's Kill Switch.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
The recently engaged David Draymond, along with the rest of the guys in Disturbed, that is Prayer.
I saw video footage.
Got engaged on stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a great way to ensure that she's going to say yes, right? In front of all those people.
Well, it's so much a part of who you are and what you do, and I'm sure if she's on tour with him, being on stage and being part of all of that.
Speaking of being on tour, I don't know if you saw this little sidetrack here before we get to sports. The frontman for Seether, Sean Morgan, had his daughter, 7-year-old daughter, on tour with him. And apparently security kicked her out of the venue or something like that. This is, I think it was in Oklahoma recently, either last night or the night.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some kind of strict rules about, and maybe they didn't know. I have no idea. I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline. But Seether's Sean Morgan with his daughter, 7 years old, and she apparently got ousted by security at this place in Oklahoma, and he changed the lyrics to one of their songs because he was really pissed off about it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how that doesn't get figured out by management. I mean, you're booking this guy to come in with his band and make you money, and then you're going to run his 7-year-old daughter out of the joint?
And she was apparently on stage right, too. It wasn't like she was...
So she was up there, maybe somebody didn't know, and some, hardo got up there and was like, hey, kid,
security.
What are you... Jesus. That's a bad scene, man. You'd think in 2025, with all these bands traveling around and all the times that bands have played in places like that, and they brought their kids and, their management and all these other people and passes and all,
Yeah, resort permits children in general areas. Concert access can vary by event. Despite that, apparently they went on to do the show, but you can't figure out that's my dad. I mean,
right.
that's a
How about we don't do the show?
15-second conversation. That's
you got your choice. Either my daughter stays right there and watches the show with someone who's responsible for her, or we're not playing tonight. How about that? You got your choice. Yeah, very strange. Just saw that this morning. Baseball. The Brew Crew now at 8 games in a row.
Got him! 8 in a row for the Brew Crew, a 3-2 win in Cincinnati.
Reds blow a 2-0 lead. They have lost 18 of 22 here in Cincinnati to Milwaukee.
And the Brewers continue this hot stretch, and they keep it rolling on the banks of the Ohio River.
Christian Yelich hitting his 4th home run in 6 games, and the Brewers extending their winning streak to 8 games, beating the Reds last night 3-2. They're in Cincinnati, taking on the Reds again tonight at 6:10. NHL Stanley Cup Finals begin tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on TNT with the Panthers at the Edmonton Oilers.
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Yeah, let's do that hockey. Meanwhile, Florida Panthers captain Alexander Barkov winning the Selke Trophy as the NHL's best defensive forward for the 2nd straight season. Barkov has now won the Selke 3 different times, 2001 and then 24, and of course this season 25. He's been in the NHL for 12 years. Former Bruins center Patrice Bergeron holding the all-time mark for the most Selke wins with 6. So he's got a few to go before he catches up, but congratulations to him. The NBA Finals begin Thursday night at 7:30 on ABC with the Pacers at the Thunder. And when you make video game moves, you make video game covers, and that's exactly what happened to Saquon Barkley.
Hurts has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30. A gain of 14 for Barkley.
Out of moves right here, makes the first guy miss. The spin move at the last second. And then, what Tiki? You're right. What is that?
Bro, we got to see this again. This kid is special, man.
Bro.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley, Eagles running back, making that reverse hurdle last year. I don't know if you remember that, where he sort of spun around, encountered another defender, and then he was turned around and he sort of just jumped over the guy. He only made another yard or 2, but it was still an impressive move. He completely jumped backwards over the dude's helmet as he was trying to tackle him, made him look foolish, and that move alone got him the cover of Matt. Not to mention, of course, he had a stellar season and the Eagles won the Super Bowl. But, that move is now on the cover of Madden. And Barkley has also been named to the Madden 99 Club, a first for an Eagles offensive player. So congratulations to him. Elsewhere in the NFL, Lions center Frank Ragnow, a 4-time Pro Bowl selection, announcing his retirement on social media yesterday after 7 NFL seasons. He says, I have to listen to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life. The Lions organization has been absolutely incredible throughout this process, and I can't emphasize this enough, how grateful I am for this team and all the fans. It is an absolute honor going to battle for you all. But his career in the NFL, at least, has come to an end.
He's listening to his body and understands the time's over. That's the deal.
Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We got some Papa Roach in a bit, some Five Finger Death Punch. Grant Bills will join us just after 8 a.m. We've got some hacks that might be costing you some money.
Okay, all right.
How did we'll talk a bit later on about grad party? Any shenanigans? Anything weird?
No, not really.
Leftovers? Where's the leftovers?
There weren't a lot.
All right, I thought we were going to have a bunch of leftovers.
No, we had to go out and get some more actually during the party because I didn't have quite enough.
No chicken dip.
No, there was none. Right. 0.
Wow, that's a real bummer because I was excited yesterday about
have some leftovers
coming in, and apparently that's not going to be the case.
That's not the case.
I guess I'll just eat my banana. All right, Papa Roach and a few. Don't go anywhere.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
And now a woman's restroom dilemma.
Paper towel, air dryer. Which one is more sanitary? Air dryer, right? But wait, if that's true, why are there paper towels? Is there a risk to the air dryer that I don't know about? Does it stir up germs that I'll inhale? And now I have lung fungus? Is lung fungus a thing? Shouldn't it be called lungus? I don't want lungus. Ugh, I'll just use paper towels. But wait, the paper towel sensor isn't working, and I don't want to shove my hands up there like I'm birthing a calf. Screw it, I'll wipe my hands on my pants. Who cares if it leaves stains? I'm never going out with this guy again. He took me to an Applebee's.
And that was a woman's restroom dilemma.
Not that deep, but I did have the soap wasn't working on Friday. We ran to get some stuff for the party that you couldn't, and I'm going from sink to sink trying to find the one that actually had anything in it, and then I did, and then I got to the paper towel dispenser and that was empty, and I'm like, just forget it. I'm air drying and I'm out of here.
Well, given the choice, which one are you going for? The air dryer or the paper towels?
It depends on the status of the air dryer.
I'm always going paper towels. Those
I'm
things
usually
don't,
going
those things
paper
suck.
towels.
They don't
But
work.
if it's those really good
They used to blow
vortex
hot air.
ones,
Now they don't. I don't know what happened, but none of them blow hot air anymore. Did you notice that? That's like a thing the last couple of years.
Yes.
It used to be the hot air, would come out and you felt like it was actually working. Now it's just cold air and you're like, well, this sucks.
Well, if it's powerful enough, I don't mind it. But the one at the park shelter that we had, for instance, was like, I think from the 70s, and it was like real small and up against the...
I'm trying my best, man. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, there was no air.
Yeah,
no air.
I'll always go paper towels if they're available. Those air dryer things.
I don't mind
stink.
this one either. The ones where you put your hands in. I'll use those. I'll use those.
Not a fan of those. I don't like any of those things. I just don't.
Because
think
that's
they work.
quick. It's like in and out twice, and they're sort of dry. Good enough.
I'm more just like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Tonight on television, America's Got Talent over on NBC. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. On ABC tonight, your celebrities are Justin Long, who just had a birthday yesterday, Rachel Harris, and Cameron Brink. WNBA star Cameron Brink on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. 4th season finale of The Cleaning Lady on Fox tonight. You've got the 7th season premiere of Love Island on Peacock.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. My people, this is a big deal. This Love Island is a big deal. So they're getting together with friends.
On an island, sexy singles, and then they bang.
Yes.
Okay. And they pretend to have relationship problems while they're on a...
And I believe you can do some sort of I think there's an app where you can vote for who you think is going to, you can play along kind of thing, I think.
Also, the series premiere of Caught in the Act, Double Life. It's on MTV, so you know it's going to be good. The series premiere of Next Gen NYC on Bravo. Also, the series premiere of 1,000 Pound Roomies on TLC.
We've tried so many things to lose weight. Ew, what's in the bowl? Sea moss. I'm making us a drink. What's the thing? But now it's time to get busy. I'm all my daughter has. I have to be here for her.
If Jasmine doesn't undergo the surgery, most likely she will not survive for long.
Surgery is something that scares the out of me. It would be easier if you was doing this with me.
I want to lose weight, but that doesn't mean I have to be stuck on the scale all the time.
I've been taking the weight loss shot.
I don't like that shot.
I'm in pain.
And it's the leg.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, she's losing the weight, but at what cost?
I am in so much pain. I'm really trying my best to hold on.
I just want everything to be okay.
Alicia, I'm scared.
Yeah.
What if I'm never gonna be able to walk again?
Time 9:30.
I don't know what happened to her, but I know that it's a wake-up call.
The series premiere of 1,000 Pound Roomies on TLC tonight.
That sounds like a lot of things are happening. That's a lot of dramatic stuff.
I watched it because I wanted to get the audio for the trailer, and as I'm watching it, and look, I'm not trying to make fun of people who have a weight problem. I have a weight problem as well. But the one scene where she's telling this, I'm assuming it's her mother or grandmother, that she's taking one of the shots.
Yeah.
There's a huge, giant tray of fried chicken on the table. And I'm like, what's not good if you're trying to lose weight? It's a big, giant tray of fried chicken. And whatever. It was just, it was a quick 1 second thing, and that's what my brain said. And so I was just like, good luck to him. The nice thing is that these people at TLC that make these shows, they seem to legitimately care about these people and want to get them.
They're trying to get
and help them with their journey and all that crap. So, and then they profit off them because people are
also
obsessed with the morbidly obese. Jimmy Fallon's got Tyler Perry, Taraji P. Henson, Owen Cooper, and Turnstile tonight.
These are all back. They've been on repeat for a while.
They were last week,
yes.
but this week it looks like they're all new.
Fresh
Kimmel's got
shows.
Tom Hiddleston, Jenny Slate, Leon Thomas. Colbert's got Jacinda Ardern and King Princess. And then Shane Gillis on with Seth Meyers tonight, along with Ben Wang and Maria Riva. So that's what's on television tonight. New release Tuesday, not a whole lot, just one film coming out. It's called The Ballad of Wallace Island. It's rated PG-13. It doesn't star anybody that you've ever heard of, but it's basically, it's kind of interesting. An eccentric lottery winner who lives alone on a remote island tries to make his fantasies come true by getting his favorite musicians to perform at his house.
No way.
So it's, I think it's English or Scottish or whatever, obviously, so you may want to turn the closed captioning on, but this guy basically has a favorite group, and it's a guy and a girl, and they made beautiful music together, and I think they were in a relationship, and then they broke up, and they stopped making music.
Trying to get them back
get the
band back together
based
again?
on the 1-minute trailer, it looks like he's trying to get them to get back together as a couple and as a band.
I'm going to Wallace Island. Can you take a bag? Oh, I'll grab this. Oh, no.
Could I get changed? I'm drenched.
You are? Dame Judy. Dame Judy drenched.
If you need.
Critics and audiences agree.
Maguire, Mortimer.
The reunion we've all been waiting for.
The best movie at Sundance.
I'm excited. We're literally playing for one guy.
Cheese.
Oh.
Is also the funniest movie of the year.
I'm going down to the shop.
Can you shut the door?
Absolutely.
No, I meant...
Oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm not really used to having guests.
Have you got peanut butter cups? We have this. You could put it in a cup.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Honey!
Hell of a serve you got, you. I've no one to play with. See, this is the issue.
I know you miss this.
I miss our music.
I've got all my wishes right here. This island. And your beautiful music. Wowzers in your trousers. Goodness gracious me. That's something else. I'm speechless.
Well, you know.
The Ballad of Wallace Islands is about the only new thing on New Release Tuesday. So,
Red Hulk. Watched Red Hulk.
You did?
Yeah, Friday night.
We just started watching the Tylenol Murders. It's a trilogy. It's a 3-part docuseries on Netflix. It's about, obviously, the Tylenol poisonings from back in the 80s. Also, I watched the Hunt for Osama bin Laden over the weekend. I watched that one. That's a 3 or 4-parter. That was pretty good. My wife was pissed at me, though, because I watched it and she wanted to watch it. And I was like, I didn't know. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, but, I'm home alone a lot, and I got a lot of time on my hands.
You haven't watched the Pee-wee thing yet, have you?
No, because we don't have HBO or Max, but I hear it's all. Everyone that I know that's seen it said it's fantastic.
Yeah, my girlfriend was telling me about it, and she's not even a
Pee-wee fan.
Right.
Yeah.
But she said it was really interesting. It's just his struggles as an artist and all the things that happened to him. But yeah, Red Hulk on Friday night.
And? I can't watch that one because my wife has mentioned to me several times that she wants to go back and watch all of the Marvel movies. And I'm like, you know how long that's going to take? Like,
What are you doing for the next 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
It was the new Captain America. It was, listen, it was a Friday night action, and it's got good and bad people and characters and, so you can't go wrong because it's
on Disney Plus now, so you don't have to.
Action-packed, but I like other Marvel movies better. How about that?
Well, yeah, I think I didn't watch anything else really. Some sports, a lot of sports this weekend, but that was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was the only thing I watched. Friday night. It was a little busy.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, Metallica.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Audio slave like a stone. Rest in peace, Chris Cornell. Talented, rich, had a loving family from all accounts, beloved by people worldwide, and still took his own life. So, mental health, man, super important. Last month, May, of course, Mental Health Awareness Month. Talk to somebody, see somebody, try to get it out there. It's tough, I know, but yeah, sad, very sad. I think about him every time I hear his music, and just, Robin Williams, all those people that we see,
maybe suffering silently or somewhat silently.
What do you know about George Strait?
Like the country legend George
Yes.
Strait? Not much. How's that? I know that he's a legend.
Yeah. They call him the king of country, apparently. I think he's got more #1 country hits than anybody else in the world. Is that right?
Sounds like it. I know that he was, there was a display area at the Country Music Hall of Fame, obviously.
Well, when they call you the king of country, you would assume you'd have
Here's
a
your
display.
wing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know much. I probably know about as much about George Strait as you do, but this guy, not only is he the king of country, but he gives back. And apparently he's been doing this for a while.
Super generous.
On Saturday, during his concert in Pittsburgh, he presented Sergeant Derek Austin, a Purple Heart recipient, with a mortgage-free home.
Oh, no.
I want you to meet this incredible American Purple Heart recipient, Sergeant Derek Austin. Sergeant Austin was deployed in Afghanistan and was injured severely attacked. Being wounded so severely because of that, he also suffered severely from TBI and PTSD. Well, we're going to say thank you in a very, very, very special way. And we're going to give this incredible hero a beautiful home.
Yeah, gave him a big oversized key, obviously hearing about his PTSD, and you think about, as I mentioned, mental health awareness and trying to get that stuff out there and getting people, the right kind of care. And Austin, injured by shrapnel while deployed in Afghanistan. George Strait presenting him with a big oversized key. The house marks the 124th home. That's 124 homes that George Strait has helped give away in partnership with the Military Warriors Support Foundation. Obviously very near and dear to his heart.
He's been doing this a long, long time.
Last month, Strait revealed during a performance he's thinking about retiring, 72 years old, in Philly, when he had a message for his fans, said, I have maybe 5 good years to sing my songs for you folks, but hell, it's been around 50 years now, and I still love it just as much as I ever did. So who knows? Maybe he'll keep going. Maybe he'll pare it down and do less.
As a veteran himself, George Strait has long supported the military for 14 years, and across 32 states he's allowed the Military Warrior Support Foundation the opportunity to present these homes, and been part of that giving back for years and years and years. 14 years he's been doing that.
Yeah, 124
I had no idea.
homes. Neither did I, but right there on stage, gets this guy out there and brand new home, mortgage free. How cool is that?
Jeez, that is a gift, isn't it?
You know what it's like.
Yeah, well, barely, but yes.
What are you on? Month 2, 3, 4?
We're not seeing
So you're rich
anything
now?
extra, right? No, there's nothing. I can just tell you that there's nothing.
This is a crazy story. Surgeons at the University of Maryland Medical Center recently found a woman's tumor thanks to a mistake that the MRI technician made. Her name is Carla Flores. She was 18 when she started having double vision. She knew something was wrong, struggled to find a diagnosis, finally went to see an ophthalmologist who referred her to a neurosurgeon. Flores, then 19, was diagnosed with a chordoma wrapped around her brainstem.
Oh, my gosh.
Chordomas are incredibly rare. Only about 300 are diagnosed per year in the U.S., and they are slow-growing malignant tumors, was putting pressure on a multiple of her cranial nerves. Developed a complex surgical plan that required 2 surgeries to remove the tumor without damaging the delicate nerves. They already knew she had a brain tumor, but the tech, apparently, this is where the error comes in, the MRI tech, apparently positioned the camera a little lower than necessary, and they spotted the second tumor on her neck. If they hadn't caught it, it would have been growing and growing and growing, could have paralyzed her. Happened last year. They removed both of the tumors. They had to use a brand new technique and go in through her eye socket to get the second one. But now a year later, no sign of cancer in her body, and also the double vision is gone.
It's not a tumor.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Not a tumor at all.
It is a tumor.
It is a tumor, actually.
It's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So they messed up and found it.
Yeah. Again, and, you think of how precise those things must be, and maybe, a couple of millimeters to the left or right, and all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, what's that?
And we're going in there to remove one. Let's go in and remove them both.
Yeah. Crazy. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We've got some Falling in Reverse, some 3 Days Grace on the way. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us online at rockmornings.com. John texted in and said, those air hand dryers just cycle all the nasty poop air particles onto your hand before you, after you just washed them.
I use them. Sorry. I mean, the ones, especially the ones that are super powerful, where you insert, like this.
Yeah, the ones where it's
like
open.
1 or 2 down, up, down, and you're done.
I just never feel like they do the job right. And now they're all cold air. None of them blow hot air.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no thanks. Thanks, John, for the text. Appreciate it.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
You got any money-saving hacks that you use on a regular basis, or maybe that you share with other people?
No, I don't have any money-saving hacks.
Nothing with the grocery store? I thought
That's
for sure
the only
you'd
thing
have
I
a
was going to
grocery store
say.
hack. I mean, you're crazy
hack.
about the grocery store.
I mean, I definitely use the points to save money at the gas pump. I do that, obviously. But no, There are not any hacks. We're so specific in some of the things we have to eat because of the allergies and stuff. So it's... I don't think so.
No.
I mean, we saved... It wasn't a hack, but we put away money each month for each kid in an education fund and a 529. I would highly recommend that if you have a new baby to be thinking about that.
I don't know if that's a hack. That's just
right.
Financial planning.
Mm-hmm.
Hack tends to infer that it's unique to the person that does it. And it's maybe something that not everyone is aware of.
Trick or a little...
Yeah. People on Reddit getting asked to name some money-saving hacks or tricks that actually cost you more money. Some of the top money-saving hacks that people list include driving to get cheaper gas across town. Now, we know here in La Crosse that if you cross the Blue Bridge, gas is usually 5 to 10 cents cheaper at Quick Trip in La Crescent, and there's a gas station right there at the end of the Blue Bridge.
So you're not going too far, but I see what they're saying. If you're saving, but you're driving...
Yeah, and
you're stuck in traffic or whatever the situation is, especially with the road construction.
And I think there's a gas station in town that's not a Quick Trip that's usually 5 cents cheaper than the Quick Trips. But again, you have to be able to get there, and are you really saving any money? And then you use your festival thing, and it's like, who knows? DIY repairs, unless you know what you're doing,
can end up costing you more money.
Well, yeah, because you mess it up, you make it worse.
Yes.
I always feel...
I don't know if that's a hack. That's just, obviously, people try to fix it if they can, but at some point you recognize there's a professional that needs to be called.
And I, honestly, as I've gotten older in life, I have less desire to try things on my own.
You know your limitations better, maybe?
It's not even that. It's just I don't care. I don't want to do it. It's like a perfect example, right? So my dad was a plumber. I was around him a lot. I learned a little bit about plumbing. It stuck with me. I'm not like trying to say that I could plumb anything. But I feel, based on my years of getting yelled at, hold the flashlight like this, all that stuff, that some sort of minor plumbing issue.
You could be of help.
Right. Maybe something underneath the sink. Mm-hmm. I could maybe figure it out. We had a toilet issue. I told you about this.
Yes.
And when I found out it was a toilet, I shut the water off. I drained all the water out of the toilet with the shop vac, and then I called my guy, and he came over, and I just said, yeah, whatever,
and
you
fix it. You paid him to fix it.
And he's like, well, we'll probably just replace the toilet. I said, okay. And then I'm like thinking to myself, I could probably do that, and I'll get the toilet cheaper at Menards or whatever. And I said, you know what, F it. This is how this guy stays in business and feeds his family, so I don't feel bad about it. And second of all, why the hell would I want to mess around and dink around with the toilet and then, make it even worse? And there's like a ring in there and all this, and I'm good.
I think there's some stuff that's worth trying for. And then there's other stuff where you just know that it's outside of your capability.
DIY projects that, again, could cost you more money in the long run.
I tried, this is what I did, I wrecked it more. And
same with anything electrical. Mm-hmm. I'm not messing around with that stuff. I'm not. I will attempt it just to give my wife the scare, because I like to do that. That whole, I'm messing around with, and pretend to get electrocuted. She screams every time. Buying stuff just because it's on sale. Speaking of my wife, if it's something you don't need right away and you're just buying it because, I might need it at some point and it's on sale, so I'll get it now, you're not really saving money that way.
Yeah, might need it at some point or do need it at some point, because I will say that we bought a lot of things at Costco that were cheaper in, Advil or whatever, stuff that we know we will be using. Toothpaste, for instance, it's not something we might use. It's something we will use.
Kitty litter, right? Not going to go bad. Going to use it. So if you can get it now and you're never going to, and it's like a year before you're going to use that bucket of kitty litter, okay. But perishable stuff, obviously.
Or something that you don't normally use or need, but you're like, but it's cheap.
These ones, I got to be honest, I never liked these. I understand why they're popular, but meal kits. People say that meal kits like HelloFresh, you think you're going to order less takeout, but a lot of people still don't cook and they just waste half the food. I got to be honest, I never liked those because there's so much trash and waste. Everything is individually wrapped in plastic or in a plastic thing, so it's like so much more waste than it would be. Plus, they always want you to cook in the pan. So whatever meat you're getting, protein, steak or pork chop or whatever. They want you to cook it in a pan. I'm like, no, I don't cook like that. I cook it on the grill. And then they want you to do it because then you add the stuff and the flavors and all that crap. And I was, nah. But these are money-saving hacks that, people are being asked about on Reddit that may or may not actually cost you more money. Growing your own food.
Some people there are a lot.
You have to be militant about it. You really do. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. You have to go into it saying, this is what I'm going to do with all this produce that I'm going to get. And this is how I'm going to take it. And I'm going to, jar it, can it, pickle it, whatever it is to make it last forever. But if you're just putting vegetables out in the garden and, you're tending to it and spending money and time and effort on it, and you could just go to the grocery store and get a thing of
the farmer's market,
the tomatoes for $1.99.
I don't know. A bunch of my neighbors have raised beds, and they're really doing well with them. So I'm excited to see what kind of results they have at the end of the summer. But I understand what you're saying.
Well, and we had that discussion about chickens too, right? With the cost of eggs going up, and then it's like, yeah, okay, cool. You have chickens in your backyard, but do you know how much that costs?
The work and the thing and the coop and the stuff.
Startup right away.
The startup, yeah.
And then you got to get the special chicken feed, and then you got to clean the poop, and you got to deal with all. And then what if you get predators in there? And it's just
do long-term commitment. That sure, but
just to save a couple bucks on some eggs. Yeah, some money-saving hacks that actually might cost you more. I can't believe you don't have a grocery hack. I thought for sure you'd have a money-saving grocery hack. You're not a coupon clipper or anything like that?
No.
Sign up for digital rewards?
Yes. I have those.
Okay.
I don't know. Isn't that just what people do?
What about the, didn't he show us when he had the app? There was another app that you can use when you go grocery shopping.
I stopped doing that.
Is it just too much work?
It was just too much work.
See, and that's how I feel about a lot of apps.
It was just too much work. It was apps and you could do, and plus the amount of groceries I buy, it was like, it was.
Where you had to buy specific things to get the savings.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to figure out that.
Okay.
I don't want to figure that out.
Grant Bill's going to join us just after 8 o'clock. I believe it's going to be in person.
Like, in person?
It's across the street.
Whoa.
Going to be broadcasting, I think, at the flip side, right?
Yes. For the
Brewer game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Grant Bill's live in studio after 8 o'clock. Also get to Bad News, Happy Music, daily check-ins, and a bunch of other stuff. Right now, it's 3 Days Grace, So-Called Life.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Rockfest music from 3 Days Grace. That is So-Called Life. Rockfest. A month and some change away. Be here before you know it. Looking forward to it. Yelich with his 4th home run in 6 games. The Brew Crew now have won 8 in a row. They are on fire. Beating the Reds 3-2 last night. Same 2 teams in Cincinnati tonight at 6:10. NHL Stanley Cup Finals begin tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on TNT with the Panthers at the Oilers. NBA Finals on Thursday, 7:30 on ABC, Pacers at Thunder.
That's big.
Journalism expected to run in the $2 million Grade 1 Belmont Stakes race this Saturday. The 3-year-old colt coming off a win as the odds-on favorite in the Preakness Stakes back on May 17th. And now looks like, even though he's not going to get the Triple Crown, going to go for 2 out of 3 at the Belmont Stakes this Saturday. Elsewhere in sports, the Mariners going to retire franchise legend Randy Johnson's number 51 during the 2026 season. In a moment that is long overdue. I mean, Johnson went into the Hall of Fame 10 years ago in 2015.
Yeah.
He'll become the 6th number that was retired by Seattle in their franchise history. The announcement was made yesterday as a way to commemorate the 35-year anniversary of throwing the team's first ever no-hitter. Randy Johnson recording a 130-74 record with the Mariners, posting a 3.42 ERA with 51 complete games and 2,162 strikeouts. His 1995 season with the Mariners ending with a Cy Young Award after going 18-2. Johnson inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2015 as a first ballot selection, getting 97.3% of the votes, and now going to have his number retired in Seattle.
That seems like it should be. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Next hour, we'll talk sports with Grant Bills of the Wisco Sports Show. Going going to join us in person, who's in town. He's in town for a couple of things, right?
Yeah, he's broadcasting live, I think at the Flip Side, and he's also going to the Lager game on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm
Thursday's
going on Sunday. We just went a couple nights ago.
Baseball. Summer.
I know. Poppy in a bit, rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. And again, Grant Bill's going to join us just after 8 o'clock.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
More Rockfest music, this time around from Poppy. Saturday the 19th, I believe. You probably don't remember this club jam, do you?
Don't want no short man.
No?
Don't want no short man.
The second short, by the way, used to be a different word, but then you got to edit it for radio.
Sure.
Can you take a stab at what that second word is supposed to be?
Is it a dig on his private parts?
It is phallic related.
Then yes, I can guess.
Well, Tinder apparently is going from April Fools to reality with the whole short man thing.
Like you can indicate that that's
6 years ago, 2019. Tinder pranking everybody with an April Fool's joke about adding a height verification feature to the app, the dating app, to bring honesty back to dating. Right? Some way to verify that you're actually 5'10" or 6'1".
Say whatever you wanted to. And
right.
It's gonna be...
And then you show up and the dude's, 5'4", right? That has not happened yet, but they are testing a new feature on Tinder to allow people to filter by height. And so not necessarily enforcing that you're telling the truth, but that you're able to, again, filter, not just by age or proximity, but now by height. Allowing women to filter out short men.
Oh, poor Shaw. He would be so angry about this. He'd say they're being
obviously
shortest, heightest.
Some people,
height elite.
Some people, mostly short men,
I bet.
are up in arms about this, but not groundbreaking territory. Hinge, apparently another dating app, already lets paid users, filter by height. A Tinder spokesperson said this is part of a broader effort to help connect people more intentionally. And we heard about Tinder trying to change things up, going from less of a hookup to more of a casual
finding real
connections kind of thing. For now, it sounds like the height filter will just be a preference to guide the algorithm for premium users, not a hard filter that would completely cut people off.
Sure.
Naturally,
short guys aren't having this. No.
Some people complaining about it. One person on social media said, "Justice for all us short kings."
Yeah.
Another said, "It's so hypocritical that men are demonized for having preferences, but it's okay for women. Imagine if Tinder added a weight filter." Not wrong. Not wrong. Again, look, if people put all their legit stats out there and were honest and stuff, then maybe you'd have an easier time finding someone that you could like and fall in love with. Right? And I get it. You want to put the best version of yourself out there. You don't want to say, you know what, sometimes I like to chew my toenails. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be on the Tinder thing. Not that I do. I'm just saying, whatever.
Why? Okay, so they're filtering by height. If he or she says, I'm not interested in dating anyone under this height, then okay. I guess, I don't know. Doesn't freak me out any more than any other filter, like you were saying. Proximity or age or income or any of the other things that you might want to search for.
But Tinder, again, with an April Fool's prank many years ago about adding a height filter, now actually adding...
Is a height filter.
A height filter. You know who was really tall? Your daughter in those heels.
Yes.
It was like towering over everybody. We were having back-to-backs with Dad and with everybody else. And not normally that tall, but had some... Not like crazy high heels, stiletto, but they were, what do you call those, pumps or something?
Yeah, well, she's 5'8". So
she's
tall.
Tallish girl, yeah.
Yeah, and then you add
3, 4, 5 inches,
you're talking pushing 6
feet. Did those last the entire time at the...
No.
Okay, I was going to say they didn't. I mean, she looked lovely and in her dress and the heels and all that, but I'm like, man...
Nope.
Those can't be comfortable.
Nope. About halfway through the day, those came off. Birkenstocks went on, and then there was a blister we popped on her big toe later that night because those, No, they did not make it the entire day.
Well, that's not what I wanted to hear about the graduation party that occurred over the weekend.
Well, it was
blister
truth.
popping.
It was truth.
The food was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoyed it. There was a buffalo chicken dip. There was some pulled pork. There was different salads and cookies and all sorts of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I like the... you took all of them, the numbers, and made like a little banner, if you will, the racing, what do they call those things?
Mm-hmm. From her cross-country running numbers, we didn't use all of them. There was way many left, but she had, made those with a ribbon and kind of made like a big streamer of all of her numbers from when she was running in cross-country. I thought that was kind of cool. That was her idea. I loved it.
The only thing that I would, not that I'm complaining, but just more like when we first turned into the park where you had it, there was the one photo of her, and it looked like maybe it was a senior photo.
It was at the top.
And then as you come down the hill, the first turn, there's like a baby photo almost. She was probably a toddler, 2-3 years old, whatever.
Kindergarten, I think it was her kindergarten picture.
And we were expecting multiple levels of like aging, and then there wasn't another one until we got to the shelter, and it was again another. It
was a baby. Baby
so
picture.
I said to my wife, I'm like, oh man, Ella's going to be so pissed at all these embarrassing photos and all her friends and family coming and whatever, and mom and dad showing off and all that stuff.
And there was only the 3.
And there was only the 3 photos. And I was just sort of like, where's the rest of the pictures, man?
So I went to a party a couple of weeks ago, and that mom did a really nice job. And she had, like, when you walked up, she had every school year.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, like every school picture was a bigger one, and it was on like a stick, and it was as you walked up the driveway. Really cool. But no, we just did the 3.
Yeah.
Baby, preschool, or kindergarten, and the one at the top with the balloons that says turn here, basically.
All right. Yeah. Food was good.
Yeah.
A lot of
Weather
people
was
showed
beautiful.
up. Weather was beautiful.
It was great.
Cool park out there, Mormon Cooley Park.
Love that park. So we were trying to figure out after everything was over and we were loading everything back up. It's nice because you don't have to have it at your house. And, park was great, and the weather was great, and the shelter's great, and has bathrooms and, refrigerator and places to plug in your crock pots and all that. But you have to haul everything out there and then haul everything back. So we're like, is it easier to not have it at your house, or would this be just better if everything was at home and I could do it in the garage?
Well, and at least you have the ability to drive right up to the building in the back. Because I don't know who came up with that walkway, but as I'm walking up that, I'm like, this is dumb. Because it's not even a compliance thing for wheelchairs, right? Because you'd think at first it's a ramp because but no, the way it zigzags, and it's just like, I get aesthetically, you're looking at it like, oh, that's kind of different, but dude, just give me some stairs. Like, just straight shot it. I don't want to do this bank line thing, going zigzagging all the way up to the house, but no, it was good. We had a good time. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
Did she get any good advice? Have we opened those yet?
You know what? I don't know if she did the advice. There was way more advice than there was memory. She had an advice jar and a memory jar, and there was way more advice than there was memory. She didn't. I don't think we went through those on Sunday. She wasn't feeling all that great. She got whatever I have,
Yeah,
so she
I
was
heard.
Under the weather. She did open her cards and is going to be doing her thank you cards for those, but I don't think she read through all the advice.
Did we make some good coin? What do we got there?
She did okay.
1 month's rent? 1 month's rent?
Right?
one book? Can you buy one book?
Gosh.
No?
Maybe some books.
All right. Well,
Some
that's
books.
good. Yeah, and I thought that was a good idea. You had a memory jar. People could leave a little memory in the jar, and then an advice jar as well for people who wanted to maybe give her a heads up. Anything funny come out of that?
Well, like I said, I haven't really looked at them. I do know I saw one person writing down a memory, and it was, I remember when I was taller than you. So they're back to your point of being 5'8" and wearing heels. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. They're all done.
Party.
All 3 of them. Jean did a good job raising 3 kids and getting them ready for the world. And boy, you were a mess.
I was a hot
Tell me about the
mess.
crock pot thing, because I was kind of I kind of told a little bit of it, but it's your story to tell. I was just yesterday I was talking about why you weren't here because you were a hot mess all weekend long, and you were telling this crock pot story, roaster story about.
And I do. My sister-in-law, who I haven't seen in 2 years, my husband's
Utah, right?
Only sibling, lives in Utah, and she was kind enough to come out for the party, but her plane didn't get it. She didn't get in until Saturday night, almost 5:00, and we had a cookout with a bunch of people who were visiting. So that was kind of super fun and awesome, but chaotic. We didn't get a chance to talk, and then Sunday was the party. And then she flew out this morning. We had to have her at the airport at 5:00 this morning. So there was only yesterday to really visit or talk or anything. So I had the day to do some stuff with her. We took her up to the shrine and walked through the gardens up there, which was really cool. Went down by the river, had some lunch, went to the antique store, went to the Pearl, got some ice cream, just did some stuff like that yesterday. But I was just, I've just been, I wasn't so bad at the graduation ceremony, but I don't know why. Well, I think it's because it's the last week of school, too. A lot of kids ended last week. A lot of kids are ending this week. And it was always, the end of the school year was always a big thing for me. I would take a half day of work because the kids get done at like 11:35 here in our district. And so I would take a half day and I'd pick them up and we'd go get ice cream and then we'd have an adventure. We'd go play, mini putt, or we'd go to the movies, or we'd go bowling, or we'd go, like, we always did that. I'd pick them up with loud tunes in the car and, I'd take a whole bunch of group of friends, and it was always this last day, like, celebration, and we'd just spend the afternoon together. And so I was getting the crock pot down. I was standing on a chair in the kitchen to make the buffalo chicken dip for Sunday. And I'm talking to my husband about, like, I can't believe that I'm never going to have those last days and take that half day and do those things again. And it's all over. And now we're just going to work until we die. And I'm bawling.
Waterworks.
And I got this crock pot. I'm standing at the thing
above your head,
above my head. And I'm just bawling about, like, I can't believe that's all over or whatever. And my husband's like, okay, babe, hand me the crock pot, get off the chair, and maybe you just need to sit and have another cup of coffee. So it was a lot of that kind of stuff where it just hits you out of nowhere, and a lot of bawling. Hot mess.
Oh, I know.
All weekend long.
Oh, I was there. I saw some of it.
Yeah, hot mess.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We got Grant Bills walking across the street in just a bit to join us live in studio. Also going to get to some Evanescence a bit later on. Right now, it's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Holy crap, we have a visitor. Live in studio for the first time ever. Our good friend Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show, which you can hear weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on stations all across the state like WKTY in La Crosse and Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. How are you, sir? Welcome to La Crosse.
I am...
Uh-oh. I knew that was going to happen.
Is the mic not working?
Yeah, we may have to...
Come on over by me.
Here, hold on. We'll plug you in over here. I knew this was going to be an issue. Sure. I'm not surprised that this station doesn't work the way it's supposed to. God forbid anything actually works in here.
It is nice to see your face, though, Simpson. I'm doing very, very well.
Well,
it's a real treat.
You could be over here, but you wouldn't have headphones.
That's okay.
All right.
I'll come over. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry to... Sorry. Now I feel bad. It's a whole thing.
No, it's okay. We're just not used to having guests in here or equipment that works. But Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show. In town, you've got several things happening. You're supposed to go to the Lager game tonight.
Yeah.
I think they're taking on the Eau Claire Express tonight, right?
They are, yep.
And obviously
exciting.
some rain in the forecast. We'll see how that goes.
Hopefully it passes earlier in the day, middle of the day, I thought.
Yeah, it looks like sometime in the midday we're going to get most of the rain. And then tomorrow you're broadcasting your show live from the Flipside Pub and Grill?
The Flipside Pub and Grill.
Are you there during the Brewer game?
Well, they play...
It's got to be an early game, right?
Yeah, so that game's probably, like 11 or noon tomorrow? So it'll probably be done.
The third game of the series...
Oh, it's a 4-game series.
Oh, it is a 4. Okay,
so
I
thought you know.
No, I thought it was a 3-game series against the Reds, but
no, then you're probably right.
Okay. Well, they are on fire. Let's get started with them.
Yes.
8 games in a row. They cranked out a bunch of runs against my Red Sox. They thoroughly dominated them. And then, of course, the streak continues now with the Reds. What's going on with the Brewers? What's happening? Where's the magic coming from?
Yelich and Churio are hitting. Yelich just won NL Player of the Week. Every time he hits the ball in the air, it's basically a home run. I saw a stat yesterday. He has the fewest fly balls of any qualified hitter in Major League Baseball. I think he only has like 24 or 25 on the season.
Don't go all Milliken on me here. Don't
13 of them are home runs.
Don't go Milliken on me here with your stats. Don't do it.
So basically, he's either hitting the ball into the ground or hitting home runs. But he's leading the team in home runs, RBIs, NL Player of the Week. And Churio's gotten it going. So those two sticks in the middle of the lineup.
You need to get going.
Yeah. And Contreras has kind of been in and out and on and off, but he's got a broken finger. So he's got an excuse. There's a reason there. But if Yelich and Churio hit like this, the team all of a sudden looks a lot better.
Now, they're also not beating up against quality competition. I mean, let's be honest, the Red Sox
Well, the Phillies over the weekend?
The Phillies are okay, but the Red Sox dumpster fire. The Reds not so great either. They've lost, 18 of 22, I believe.
Their favorite matchup is the Reds. They always dominate the Reds. The Red Sox, your Red Sox have some talent. Their vibes completely suck.
Yeah. Well, Devers, the big bat and the big paycheck and not wanting to do what he doesn't want to do. And
that's true.
The manager manager just sort of meh and taking days off to go to his daughter's graduation, and it's just
there was that.
It's a mess in Boston.
Especially when you drove all the way to Milwaukee to see him. He couldn't.
I go because I look, I'm a Red Sox fan by nature, and I like going to Miller Park. It was Dollar Dog Day. We didn't get a Dollar Dog, and
so there's no angst from you that your team let you down. Okay, you get it. That's how sports fandom should work.
If they were like in first place and they're 10 games in front of the Yankees, and then you go to Milwaukee and you lose to this scrub team, you're like, what the hell's going on?
You'd have higher expectations.
Yeah,
then.
But no, I expected them to lose.
So Yelich and Chiriot is a big part of it. Their bullpen got a couple days rest against the Phillies because they had some starters go deep, and they look refreshed and really good. And part of it, they've won 8 in a row. The Phillies made some mistakes, and the Red Sox certainly did too. That throw by Christian Campbell and extras was poor. So they've gotten a little help too. But I also think this is the first time all season they've probably been able to celebrate and have some good vibes. And in a long, long, long baseball season, like vibes aren't going to win you a division, but they help you get through
this part.
Yeah, May or June or July. A lot of the season's probably the dog days, but that's what helps you kind of get through. And I think this team has some excitement, some good vibes, probably for the first time all year.
Well, and that helps because you're getting closer to the All-Star break, and if this can continue for another week or two, and you get even closer, and now you're going into the break at first place or wherever you're at.
Talk about buying instead of everyone being worried that
exactly.
Freddie Peralta is going to get traded away, which they might still do. Maybe
I would like to see them do something like what they did the Sabathia year, where they get that big arm going into the playoffs, and it's just like, here we go, saddle up. And they never seem to want to do
Teams
that.
Don't do that anymore. It's lame. No organizations want to just throw it all on black and like, all right, we'll give up like our 3 best prospects just for 2 months of a guy. Because if he gets hurt, you're boned, and then in the offseason, you're boned anyways because the guy's probably going to leave if he's a rental. So I wish more teams would do that too. It's really, really fun, but I think teams have gotten a little too smart for the good of the enjoyment of baseball fans, let's say.
Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show, in the studio with us this morning, staying at the Charmont Hotel across the street.
Very nice.
A weird little question. Now that we mentioned the plethora of runs that happened against the Phillies, what was that? 17-7, I believe.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of the game, you expect them to get a few. You throw in
six of the Phillies runs, I think, came in the 9th. So it's not like the Brewers were piling on a little.
Here's the question I had. Do you like that when a position player gets in there and it's garbage time and it's fun? Is that fun for you, or are you just like, let's hurry up and get the game
Whose
over?
Position player? Is it their position player or is it mine?
You throw in some first base guy that just got called up to throw a couple of 45-mile-an-hour meatballs. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
It's more fun when my team is the one who's hung 17 runs. Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing that only happens in baseball. Like in the NFL, you never see all right, we'll put the punter in and he'll like take a couple snaps. Like it never happens. Never happens in basketball. So it's one of those fun niche things in baseball. And now with the pitch clock, like the game's moving quicker and it's going to get done more quickly anyways. So I'm good with a little position.
I like to see not so much that on television, but I like to see the camaraderie that the team has when the guy gets in there. Because maybe he was a pitcher in high school and they bust his balls about it all the time.
And the guy said, I could have been a pitcher.
They're all up on the fence and they're all yelling and screaming and they're doing goofy stuff. And I appreciate that as a person who used to play baseball and likes that kind of camaraderie.
It's fun. It's something that you only get in baseball. You're not going to get it in other sports. So, yeah, and the Brewers have a guy, Jake Bowers, has pitched a couple innings this year, and I don't think he's given up a run. But then some teams are like, speaking of things that only happen in baseball, you get these unwritten, unspoken rules about what you're allowed to do against a position player. And remember Tony La Russa a couple of years ago, ripping his own team. And again, things you only get in baseball, things that are stupid and silly and shouldn't have any meaning, but for some reason this ancient historical traditional sport has these things.
Transitioning to basketball, before we get to Giannis, what are your thoughts on the NBA on TNT run coming to an end? It's going to be the same show, just on a different channel. They made a big to-do about it.
Thank you.
It just sort of felt like...
Thank you.
I get it. For them, it's emotional. You have all these, but like it's the same crew.
Yeah,
it's the same people. It's the same exact product. It's just on a different channel. Now we know ESPN, the worldwide leader, they're going to make tweaks, much like they tried to do with McAfee. But they
didn't make that many crazy tweaks with McAfee, though.
It's like telling a eulogy, and then the guy wakes up in the coffin, and not dead yet. It's like, I don't know what you're so emotional about, man. The show's not over. It's going to continue.
I'm glad we agree on this because I don't want to be that guy on the internet or on my show because I seem like an a-hole. But everyone's like, end of an era.
It's not.
It's like they will be on television in the fall.
In fact, it'll be easier for us because I don't have TNT. We don't have traditional cable, but I have ESPN through my Disney app, so I can now watch it.
Also, how many people are sitting down in January and February and March and watching the NBA on TNT on Thursday
You know what?
nights?
They like the reels. They like the 10 seconds of Barkley saying something stupid,
or like
falling down, or I got to pee, or he pooped his pants.
Yeah,
right?
like Barkley making jokes about them big ass women. Like no one sits down and watches that show. Like it's Thursday, I got to watch my. So yeah, a little bit throughout the season, I catch bits and pieces, but people talk about it like they just canceled Cheers, and it's not Cheers, and it's also not canceled. They will be on in the fall, so I'm glad we agree on this.
Well, I think maybe some people didn't get the info. They heard it was coming to an end, and they said, oh, no. And, Barkley, of course, had all these contract negotiations and talking about, I'm not going to go to ESPN and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, the show's ending. And then at the end, you're like, well, Ernie Johnson, very serious and emotional, and we're going to do the same crew, and thank you very much, 20 years, and I'll see you at ESPN next Tuesday. What?
Gene, are these the kind of rants that you have to take in every day about last
I don't get to rant about this stuff with Gene. She doesn't care.
Usually, I just, okay, sure.
Funny.
Sounds
By the way, did you guys hear that Around the Horn is ending after how many years?
It's over. It ended like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know if everybody got the memo out on that one.
That one was a little emotional for me because they brought back the originals, the Bob Ryans and the the J.A. Adonde, and
Woody
obviously
Page
Woody Page has been there forever, but. And I had a lot of affinity for that because that was one that I would watch every day along with PTI.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I wasn't like stunned that it was coming to an end.
It's of eulogizing and blogs and podcasts. It's like, okay, that's the day and age we live in. And as a content creator myself, I get it, but it's like, Jesus.
Yeah,
it's a television show.
It's enough.
There's plenty of content. There's enough content.
We had the same run with What Did On Say? It was a beloved classic on our program, and it had to come to an end, though. Just that's how things are. As we're talking about basketball, where is Giannis going to end up? Because it ain't going to be Milwaukee.
I think it'll be Milwaukee.
I mean, there's talks about them trading out for the first pick here. Cooper Flagg might not be going where he's supposed to go. And what are we doing here? What's happening in the NBA?
Well, every 5 days, there's a new team that's a leader in the clubhouse.
Right.
Which is always like a little bit of a red flag that like this might be content. This might be the tail wagging the dog. Is that the expression? So anytime it's like, well, now it's the Raptors, and now it's like, okay, but Giannis hasn't talked about anything or said anything to anyone. He still hasn't met with the Bucks, as far as I know. It was supposed to happen last week, and it didn't.
The last rumor that I heard, based on the stations that I listen to, is that Jaylen Brown going to Dallas, number one pick, ending up in Boston. They're picking up Cooper Flagg, and then Giannis is going somewhere else, maybe to L.A.
Only Celtics fans would believe that.
I don't believe it. That's what I heard.
I don't doubt that that's what you heard. I think Giannis will stay. I'm not telling you that I know that for sure, but that would be my guess. And the longer this goes without us hearing anything, the more strongly I believe that. I don't know, man. And I also think he appreciates, like, just because I go somewhere else, I'm not guaranteed anything. I think there's some star players over the years, it's like, I'm going to go here and team up with these guys, and we're going to win all of the rings. And it's just assumed there's this entitlement. And I think Giannis understands, like, yeah, I might not win anything here. I'm not guaranteed to win anything anywhere, so I'm going to consider other factors, which I appreciate, even if he might be hurting his ability to maybe win another ring. I don't know.
Well, and the guys in the finals now are saying that this is the new model. It's no longer the three big studs. It's now this younger guy pushing the pace, running up and down the court and scoring at will.
Lots of depth.
As opposed to having, three bigs or whatever that might be.
Which hasn't been the recipe basically my entire life. Teams like the Thunder and teams like the Pacers are the teams that have great regular seasons, and everyone convinces themselves this is the year that they're going to do it. And then they run into the team with the two, the best players on the floor, and they lose. And for whatever reason, and maybe it's the CBA and the way that teams are built, like if you have those two stars, you're really not allowed to do anything else, which is different than it was 10 years ago when we had dynasties and rematches in the finals. But everyone's now talking about, well, Oklahoma City is going to be the next dynasty. And I'm just like, okay, maybe they'll win this one. I think they might. But we can't keep doing this every year. Like, it's a different team every year. And every year we're like, and they're going to win the next three. And then they'll be out in the second round next year.
There hasn't been a repeat since the Warriors in 2016. Right?
Yeah.
It was like a decade ago.
Which, by the way, I'm not a huge hockey guy, but the NHL intrigues me because this is the second straight year, right?
Bro, they're just a wagon.
I love them.
Oh, man.
I would love to see either team. This is why.
I love the fact that it's a non-hockey state.
Yep.
You know, it's just, and I bet the people down there that are hockey fans are probably transplants from, New England or the Midwest or wherever it was cold in the wintertime. And they're down there and they're like, hell yeah, we got a good hockey team. We got something to root for, because they don't come out for baseball.
No.
They don't give a rat's ass about their football teams down there. It's just but this hockey thing seems to be taking on a whole life of its own down there.
We're getting rematches, which is great for casuals like me. It's like, I remember these teams from last year. I can jump right in and actually watch this, which is been the opposite in the NBA. It's been different teams every year, which is, I think, good for the nerdy basketball people. But the people who just watch a little bit and they want to see who wins the title, it's like, okay, well, who the heck are these guys? So I yearn for the days where it was Cavs and Warriors every year. That was kind of fun. Maybe that makes me a casual. Maybe that's not good for the game.
Nothing wrong with rivalries. You need them.
I agree. Thank you.
Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show, weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on WKTY in La Crosse. Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. Jeannie, you have any non-sports questions you want to ask him?
I was asking what he's doing this summer, if he had any big plans for him and the gal, and if they had a summer vacation. And doesn't she have a lake house or something? Or?
Well, my parents live on a lake. Her parents have a pool, so we're set up pretty well.
Yeah.
Simpson, easy.
You go swimming. Swimming.
We're going to go swimming. We went to IKEA the other day. I'd never been there before.
Did you buy a dresser?
We didn't buy a dresser. We bought a lamp.
What is it called? What's the IKEA name? The Flukenflurgen?
I don't know.
They all have weird names,
I
right?
felt like I was back in Iceland, let me tell you.
Did you get the meatballs? Did you get the meatballs?
No, we got a hot dog.
Okay.
We also bought a new patio couch. Facebook Marketplace. Do you
have a patio?
We do. The people who set the prices for patio furniture are some of the worst people on the planet. It's on
Marketplace?
No, in stores.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
What? It's made of metal and it's got some cushions on it.
$3,000 for the whole set. I want one bench, and it's like you need the bench and the chairs and the table and the umbrella.
You're not getting it piecemeal. You're getting it all at once.
And it's $4,000.
You can't just have that.
That's why you got to save big money at Menards.
Pretty exciting developments. IKEA, some patio furniture. I planted some flowers in a pot last weekend.
Married. When are you asking her?
The wedding bells are ringing all the time.
This is all marriage prep.
Flowers in a pot.
Can we buy furniture together? Can we agree on a color? Can we agree on a style? Can he do things that I need a man to do, like put together IKEA furniture?
Those are relationship green flags, though?
Yes. Oh, totally. You got to get past those, to get to the finish of the race.
Did she buy the flowers that you put in the pot?
No, I did.
Okay. Did you pick them out?
Yeah, they're marigolds.
Marigolds.
They get direct sun. I needed a hardy flower.
I thought marigolds were in the fall.
No, marigolds work. They're yellow, orange. They keep away squirrels and other varmints from your other garden. See?
Right now we have a silverfish problem in the bathroom. I know.
Dude, you got to deal with that immediately. What do you mean problem? That cannot go on.
The tiny, most harmless little bugs.
That cannot go on.
It's once a day. I got the powder that you shake. I'm trying.
Dude, you got to make that stop immediately.
I feel like I should call her. I should call a service person. I didn't leave her alone.
In
her own bathroom that she gets to
that crawl out of the drain.
The tiny little bugs that you would barely see if you had the morning in your eyes where you just woke up. You would miss them.
You're disgusting. Get rid of it.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
Welcome to my life.
We have a house centipede every once in a while, which I told her will eat the silverfish.
We get those.
I mean, they're freaky. They are.
Gross.
They are. They're freaky, but they're harmless, and they eat other bugs.
And I got a cat. The cat loves it.
The cat will go nuts to chase those things around the wall.
Well, Grant Bills, thanks for coming over in person. Good to have you in the studio.
We can lead with bugs in the house next time. I didn't know Gene felt so strongly.
Gross.
It was nice to see you both.
Yeah,
Very nice to see you. Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show. You can hear him weekday afternoons from 4 until 6. All across the state on stations like WKTY in La Crosse and on Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. And you can catch him live at the Lager game, and he'll be at the flip side tomorrow afternoon.
And doing your show from Lager Field.
Yes. Bill's throwing out the first pitch.
Against Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been working on it? Or
I don't know. His hip's been bothering him. I hope that's his. I don't think it's his plant leg, though.
I'm not trying to be mean, but he's like a big guy.
Oh yeah, he can throw a ball. I'm sure.
Which is what I'm assuming. He's got some athletic ability, some prowess.
He played baseball back in the day.
Okay, so
I never did.
I mean, I saw some kid throw from the bump when I was there, and they were getting it across the plate. So he's got some.
I think I hope. I don't think he's stressing about it. I don't want him to worry about it.
He's sleeping in $1 million camper home out there in the parking lot. How could he be stressing? Jesus Christ! All right, bad news, happy music is coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some Haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock. Add this to the list of reasons to not get on a plane ever again. A man in India arrested for trying to smuggle dozens of rare reptiles, including venomous snakes, into the country. The Indian citizen, who was returning from Thailand, stopped by customs officials at the airport in the Mumbai city on Sunday. Officials said the reptiles, including 47 venomous vipers, were found concealed in the man's checked luggage.
I have had it with these snakes on this plane.
So he shoved them in a suitcase?
We legitimately almost had a snakes on a plane incident with this guy. Reptiles have been seized under various wildlife protection laws in India. Passenger has not been named, and he is in custody. Has not been not commented yet on his arrest either. Customs official releasing photographs on Twitter of colorful snakes squirming in a dish. In their post, they said they had seized 3 spider-tailed horned vipers, 5 Asian leaf turtles, and 44 Indonesian pit vipers.
5 golden rings.
So you're on a plane unknowingly with this guy with his suitcase full of venomous snakes.
Had to be snakes.
No thanks.
Mm-mm.
No thanks. Bad news, happy music. Woman arrested on Wednesday of last week in Salt Lake City after police said she was accused of assaulting her roommate over
loud music.
Buzzer.
Hot Pockets.
Buzzer.
Sleeping with her boyfriend.
Buzzer.
Using all the toilet paper.
It would be nice if you said thank you and helped me with the dishes.
Fine. I'll help you do the dishes.
Oh, come on. You know what? No, that's not what I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
Dishes?
23-year-old woman in Utah arrested after she allegedly tried to strangle her roommate last week during a argument over dirty dishes not being washed.
I get it. I kind of get it.
Makes it sound like the plates weren't cleaned enough. Not so much that they weren't cleaned or that they were left in the sink, but they weren't cleaned properly. Police say the woman followed the victim as she ran to her room. She pushed through the closed bedroom door, made her fall to the ground, grabbed her by the hair and neck, and strangled her to the point where she couldn't breathe for 5 seconds. Also tried to kick her. Doesn't sound like the roommate suffered any serious injuries. No update on her condition. The attacker charged with aggravated assault, aggravated burglary. Not quite sure what the burglary is all about, but unclear who will be.
Open, maybe?
Burglary. I don't know. You burgle a door that you push open? Burglary it involves stealing of something, right? Unclear who will be doing the dishes while that woman is locked up, but they're probably not going to live together.
They're probably not going to live together anymore. I mean, I do understand it. Like, you're never doing them, you're not doing them, then you do them, and you do them in half-ass, and I've had
this
it
chick,
with you.
by the way, who got arrested, you got to check out this name. Scarliff. So not Scarlet, there's an H at the end. Scarliff, Lisette, Vega, Giracocha. Giracocha. That's a hell of a name right there. That's a mouthful. Yeah, dirty dishes.
Gonna be hard to find a subletter.
I told you, I had a roommate back in my early 20s. Guy I lived with that I worked with, Matt Ricklick. And I was dating a girl in Concord, New Hampshire, and he was dating a girl in Nashua where we lived. And so I was rarely home. I was always away. And when we first moved in together, like the kind of unwritten agreement was that we would alternate washing the dishes. Well, I was no longer there to make the dirty dishes. So when I came home, there was no point for me to do the dirty dishes. And they just kept piling up. And I finally said to him, like, dude, what's up with the dishes? And he's like, well, it's your turn. I said, bro, I didn't do any of the dirty dishes. You did them all with your girlfriend here, who's been sleeping over and not paying rent. That whole thing. And then I found his little diary or whatever on the table one time when I came home, writing about
how much he hates
how
you
much
and
he
your
wants
dishes.
to kill me in my sleep. And I was like, well, I guess we're not living together anymore because I'm not living with that over some dirty ass dishes. Yeah,
I get it. I sort of do.
So there was that. Viral video from Colorado. Some hikers near the upper Colorado River have captured what they believe to be
Sasquatch?
a massive Bigfoot-like creature wandering through the woods.
Yeah, hell yeah, they have.
Recent videos starting to pick up steam over the weekend now. It's all over the internet.
Oh.
Is it or is it not Bigfoot?
There are no abominable snowmen. There are no Sasquatches. There are no big feet.
Oh, this is so great. This is in Utah?
Colorado.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Upper Colorado River in Colorado. Much like every Bigfoot video, it's
Does it
from
look
a
like-
billion miles away. It's like when you take your
trees
phone out and you try to get a
parts
picture of the moon. You're looking at it
Yeah.
with your naked eye. It looks great. You take your camera out on your phone and it looks like crap.
Yeah, so this is another viral video where it looks like potentially Bigfoot is wandering through the woods, but
So there's a little bit of a clearing between two large trees. It's blurry. It's from a long distance, and something moves in between the two trees. A guy in a costume.
So you don't get to see it really.
A goat. I don't know, an elk, a bull moose,
A moose.
moosin'.
That's what I would say.
You know.
Is a moose or a bear. Is it a bear standing up?
Maybe it's, I don't know. All I know is that every time I see one of these, I want to see something that looks better. I want to see, like, put some work into it. If you're going to try to fake it, make it look better. Every time we see these, it's like, the ATM cameras.
Oh,
yeah, see? You can't tell anything. No way to tell.
Smokey the Bear telling you that they're too dry. Conditions are too dry. No on the fire today. Don't do it.
A woman in Louisiana using sugar and chocolate syrup to wreck a vehicle. She was upset with someone who was sharing her romantic partner.
So he's cheating on her, and she finds out and then goes and puts sugar in the woman's gas tank? Is that?
This is another great name. Where the hell are people coming up with these effing names? When did we stop calling people Steve and Josh and Jessica and Stacy? I want to hit people on the head with a stick every time I read one of these names.
What is this name? Scarlett?
This is the first name. Melridney. Melridney.
Melridney.
And this is coming from someone who's married to someone who has a name he's never heard before in his entire life until he met his wife. Me. Melridney. You know what we're going to call this baby? She looks like a Melridney.
Hey, maybe it's a family name. There's a lot of Melridneys in that family.
The Shreveport Police Department writing on Facebook that Melridney Robinson just turned a car into a dessert buffet and a demolition site all in one go, along with the words sugar syrup and slashing. Oh, my. This woman faces felony property damage charges, allegedly slashing all four of the tires of the vehicle. See, the key here is that if you slash 3 instead of 4, the insurance will not cover 3. The insurance will cover 4, but not 3. And I know this because someone told me.
To be a truth.
I'm just saying.
So.
Breaking both side mirrors, shattering the windshield, pouring
here
chocolate syrup everywhere, and then dumping sugar in the gas tank. Police say the entire act caught on camera.
Did she tell the police that her boyfriend was sleeping with that person, though? And that's why she did
Apparently pulled up in her own vehicle.
Got nothing to hide.
Big mistake. Big mistake. You got to borrow someone's car. Parked next to the victim's vehicle, destroyed it, then drove away. Depending on the value of the car and its damages, if convicted, she could face prison time, a fine of $1,000 or more. She may be ordered to make full restitution to the owner of the property. According to the Louisiana state legislature, unclear whether the romantic partner to whom police alluded to in their post was the owner of the vandalized vehicle or if it was someone else. The Shreveport Police Department also saying, let's be real, no man is worth prison time in a criminal record. Wow.
That is truth.
Man, I'd like to think I'd be worth a little bit. That's hurtful, Shreveport. It's very hurtful. Not very nice. Bad news, happy music, last one. This gal just trying to be internet famous. What was it, 1,057 men?
In a 24-hour period?
Wasn't it? It was like more like 12 hours, wasn't it? Bonnie Blue?
In a VRBO?
Yeah, that apparently didn't tell the guy what was going on.
Yes. So this one's going to try to break that record?
Yeah, and I don't know how much reality there is here. I mean, look, this is a whole different kind of world that you're talking about. But she apparently wants to break her own record on June 15th. Instagram video just the other day said, 15th of June, I'm going to be tied up and open to the public. You choose to either get involved or just walk around and watch, enjoy the show. Apparently, she brags about trying to be tied up in a glass box where people have access to her body, and she wants 2,000 men to come and get some. May 29th, revealing her plans to sleep with more than 2,000 men. Can we stop calling it sleep with? Can we just say have some sort of sexual intercourse, some sort of... within 24 hours, calling on husbands, dads, and barely legals to join her. I want to hit 2,000 bodies, and to be honest, I think it's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to be tied up and accessible to the public, and I really want you to come and join me. But yeah, some sort of glass box out in public somewhere, I guess, tied up.
Yeah, it sounds like, though, her TikTok and
I guess it's all got deleted or is down.
Got deleted or at least is down after she made the announcement. Do you feel like you're going back to the same old, like it's a...
One, you're beating a dead horse?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah. Well,
like a one-trick pony here. Like, hey, I'm going to set the record. It was 600. No, I'm going to double that record. I'm going to do that. Okay, now I'm going to take that record and I'm going to do it in a glass box.
She went down to spring break, and there was lots of videos of her in hotel rooms with like 7, 8, 9, 10 dudes.
I mean, I don't
have
at it, but I just feel like, okay, all right.
I'm walking around like, what the hell is that? You know what? I should just go over there and see what's happening. No. Good. At what point in her life does she find God and like goes and gets into the
church? I think she's making like $75,000 a month. I don't think she's finding anything right now.
All right.
Except
well, some of them do.
Deep breaths in a glass box. I don't know.
Bonnie Blue at it again. Supposedly June 15th. We got like 2 weeks to prepare for this thing. You gonna pay for that pay-per-view or what?
No, don't care.
All right. Bad news, happy music. We'll get to the daily check-ins after Godsmack.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Visit the website, rockmornings.com, for all of our contact info. You can listen to the show live on the website, register to win Workforce Wednesday, which, of course, is tomorrow, and like and subscribe to our daily podcast. Doc texting in earlier said he's going to tape a very special Race Report Extra sometime tonight for tomorrow morning to push the High Limit Sprint Car Series featuring Kyle Larson, which is tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
John texting in said those hand dryers, the air ones, that you were talking
blow
about,
stuff all around.
cycle all the nasty poop air particles onto your hand after you just washed them. That's what you're looking for, right? Instead of towels.
Yeah, I like the ones that, like I told you, the ones that are super powerful. Where you?
What do you have against towels?
I don't. I use those too. Actually, I opt for that if the dryer isn't the style that I like.
Okay. Corbin texting in saying, where the F is this rain and cooler temps? Fat boy here doesn't like being this sweaty in the morning. It is a bit humid out, and obviously I think the Canadian wildfires are, that haze and everything, the air quality is keeping some of that humidity in. But looks like later this morning, maybe around 10, 11, 12.
10, 11, 12, 1, somewhere in there is where we're going to see some. It could have small hail. I heard some strong winds, a possibility, and we've got that air quality thing in effect until noon, too.
Corbin also said, I'm about to strip down and do my rain dance. Good luck with that, buddy.
I want video, Corbin.
Gene wants video, not me. Justin and a bunch of other people texted in about the fire on I-90. Sounds like that's being cleared up or has been cleared up and is back up and running. Speaking of running, Jim, our buddy who just retired yesterday from the military, said, just woke up. This was at 8 o'clock. No morning run or formation. LOL.
Just woke up.
Now that's how you start a day.
Yeah. Good job, Jim.
It usually
takes easing into this retirement thing.
Well, when we go on
nicely.
vacation, it takes me a good 3 or 4 days before I start waking up much later than normal. And Jake texted in and said, that girl has a glass box. Everyone gets a look. LOL.
Sort of.
Well, that's apparently what she's looking to do. So more power to her, I guess. I'm not supposed to shame those people, right? Can't shame sex workers.
I don't know.
I mean, is that even sex work? I mean,
I don't think so. It's just setting records. It's like, I broke my record. Now I'm going to break this record. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I don't know.
Hercules.
I'm going to do the same thing, but different.
Thanks for all the correspondence. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.